Hi, everyone. Welcome to this little weird bit of a Weird World podcast.
Who are you?
I'm Carrie. Who
Dean.
are you?
I'm Dean. And today, actually, we have an introduction of a new kind of weird bit, I guess.
Oh.
This is going to be called the Quick Cryptid Corner, which Carrie would spell it with all Ks.
C's.
Just kidding.
Say it real fast.
Quick Cryptid Corner. This is
That's
fast.
not
I'm going to
fast.
dare say it.
Okay.
These, I want to bring you some little, some cryptids, which, as you know, are hidden animals from cryptozoology.
Hidden?
Pardon?
Is that the right word?
Hidden is the right word, yes.
Oh, okay.
And they are, and cryptids, in case you don't know, are animals that are either were thought long extinct and actually maybe exist, like the thylacine or something like that, or unknown animals, like a Sasquatch, of course, famously, or
Unknown.
Loch Ness Monster.
AKA fake. AKA made up.
I don't know about that. I think actually some that, and we'll actually. So what I want to do is just have little quick hits of a cryptid, just to introduce you folks to some of my favorite cryptids. I'm
Your
a big
voice
fan,
is
as you know.
going all over the place.
Yeah, it is.
So far. Okay, this is going to be fun.
I'm doing it intentionally.
Okay.
So today we are going to start with one of our favorites. You actually know this one. It's the name of this cryptid is a contractions of of the word kawa, which means river, and wappa, I might not be pronouncing that right, which is a variation of the word child. And that, of course, is in the Japanese language, because this is a famous cryptid from Japan. They're also sometimes called, or another translation of the word for this animal, this creature, is water sprite. And there's like 80 other names for this creature, but the one it's most known as is the
Kappa.
The Kappa, Kappa.
I wish we had Jack's little video
Yes.
that he did.
We made a video of Jack trying to capture a Kappa in a creek or something like that, a stream or something like that.
It was for a school project.
Because, as you know, Kappas are water animals. They are water creatures.
Yes, I'm well aware.
They are. They're humanoid. They look basically like a person, more or less. They're roughly the size of a child, and they live in freshwater all over Japan, ponds, rivers, lakes, things like that. They're said to be not great on land, but they will sometimes come out on land, but they're very at home in the water. They're kind of a greenish kind of a color. They have webbed feet and hands, I guess. Sometimes they're said to be scaly. Sometimes they're said to be kind of slimy.
For swimming.
For swimming, yeah, they're good swimmers. And they have, famously, a couple things. They have a carapace, a shell, a turtle-like shell on their back. So think kind of humanoid, but with a turtle shell, and sometimes portrayed as kind of a beaked mouth. Not always, though. Sometimes looking more human and sometimes looking more animal. There's tons of illustrations. We'll put some illustrations onto our social media. There's a million of them. And they're mostly greenish, but they didn't used to be. We'll hear a little bit more in a bit about kind of the history of them. They also, of course, as I'm sure you know, have 3 anuses. I'm assuming you knew that.
We didn't put that part in Jack's second
No,
grade
we
video.
did not. We did not. They're actually quite as obsessed, as we'll also learn here.
Really?
In a bit. Yeah, they do. And one of the reasons they are said to have these 3 anuses, or at least an outcome of that, is they can fart much more, 3 times as much as humans can.
And that's necessary because?
I don't know. A gassy diet. I'm not sure what they eat. Well, actually, they sometimes eat small children. So they're kind of
that would do it.
They're kind of small, like child's-like size, but they're very, very strong. They can pull like cows and horses into the water.
Wow.
They sometimes are said to smell like fish, but not always. And their arms are, I guess, connected inside their torso, so they can like switch it up, like have the arms go all the way to on the left side or on the right side or something. It's a little bit weird. And of course, they most famously have a concave top of their skull, something like a dish forming the top of their head, that when they do go out on land, they have to keep some of the water from the river where they live in that, or if spill it or it goes away somehow, they will lose their strength and their, mythological godlike powers. They think of themselves as, godlike creatures, and woe to the person who doesn't agree with that.
This is so silly.
No, it's not. I love
Yes, it
Kappas.
is very silly.
In terms of how they interact with people, it absolutely runs the gamut. They can be like just sort of mischievous, like they'll look up. Like if a woman goes by the river in a kimono, they'll sometimes go at the river's edge and look up her kimono.
Nice.
Apparently, a lot of times toilets were positioned over rivers. So they
Really?
would, yeah, I know. So they would reach up and touch the ass of the woman and, spank her. I don't know.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's also fairly gross. But they can also go all the way to awful and they'll pull people and drown them. They sometimes drown swimmers. They're said to particularly like to drown or mess with and sometimes I guess they wouldn't be cannibalized, but eating children. So children, don't go into the river because the Kappa might get you. They also have been known to sexually attack women in addition to, killing kids and eating them.
Okay.
So not great, but sometimes they have even befriended people, especially if you do them a solid. They'll sometimes serve you for life or just be your friend for life or even sometimes save you from drowning if you get in trouble in the river.
Okay, so what's a solid that you could
Like do them a
possibly
favor,
do?
like fill
what?
up their cap, fill up their, it's called a Sara, I believe. If they do lose the water and you say, let me go get some water from your river, bro, and I'll fill you back up, boom, you've
Before
got a
you
friend
eat
for
me,
life.
Here, let
No,
me put some
they
water.
won't eat you.
I know.
That's the whole point.
They were getting ready to eat you until you decided to suggest you fill their Kappa with some water.
Yeah, that's true.
Kappa?
The Kappa, that's the name of them, yeah.
No.
The I think it's called the Sara, I
the
believe.
Sara.
Sara is their concave little head dish.
They should have named it the Kappa.
The Kappa on the Kappa?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's just pretty insensitive, Carrie. Sounds a little ethnocentric to me. So what do you think their favorite food is? Being
Fish?
water. Yeah, you would think that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I'd live in rivers. No, cucumbers. No idea why. Just they love cucumbers. It's this traditional meal. They also said to like the Japanese eggplant. They sometimes like soba, which is the buckwheat noodles, which I personally think are delish. They sometimes also like something called natto, which is fermented soybeans, or kabocha, which is a Japanese pumpkin.
Oh.
Because of their love for cucumbers, it's said in some parts of Japan that if you eat cucumbers before you go swimming, they'll leave you alone.
Oh.
But in other parts of Japan, it's said if you eat cucumbers before you go swimming, they will drown you.
Oh.
So
It's hard to know.
it really is. I say ask a local before you go swimming in that Japanese river. And in fact, a cucumber-filled sushi roll, which is, I'm sure, disgusting as it sounds, is known as a kappamaki.
Nice.
Yeah, I would love to order a kappamaki because the name is super cool, but it would be detestable, so I will not. I hate cucumbers, as you know.
Well, I enjoy cucumbers and I enjoy rice. So if there's no raw fish, I would enjoy it.
Historically, kappas have been, as I mentioned, they've been dangerous sometimes. They're said to be big fans of sumo, and they're supposed to be great. Sometimes they're strong, they're also really good wrestlers. Technique, baby.
Sure.
So sometimes if they do get you at the river's edge, they're going to wrestle your ass in the water. You don't have a chance.
Yeah.
And they are also said to, one of their other favorite meals is human blood.
Oh.
Yeah. So again, it's weird how the legend of them just runs across the spectrum from save you to kill you and eat you. And so sometimes when they have drowned people is for the purpose of drinking their blood. They also sometimes might eat your liver because they think that gains their power, or what they are really obsessed with. I mentioned ago, ass obsessed. Well, here's why. In Japanese folklore or tradition, there's something called a shirikodama. That's like a ball or a gem or something like that everyone has that contains your soul. It's like the home of your soul inside, and it's located in the human body in the anus.
Oh.
Kappas love these things, so they are constantly going to try to reach up your anus and take your soul. That's one of the reasons they're said to, like, if you're going to the bathroom above the river, they'll try to do it. In fact, one of the ways to lure a kappa, if you're trying to capture one or something like that, is to stick your bare ass over the water and like, come on, kappa, here it is, get the good stuff, and then, I don't know, capture them somehow.
This is like Huge red flag.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah.
Why do you say that? Well, really what they are is I think they've been used as kind of a boogeyman to make sure kids don't go swimming where they shouldn't be go swimming and go drown. So they're used, and that's the usefulness of them.
But you don't got to make up a legend that your soul is in your butt and this animal's going to try to get it.
I don't think that's Kappa specific. I think but somehow the Kappa's got attached to really wanting those.
It's still problematic in my view.
Okay.
I don't.
Even today, right now, there are still signs up near some rivers and lakes saying, "Don't go swimming, kids. There's a Kappa in the river."
Sure.
That's great. I want to go to there. I have a picture of one in Japanese. The translation is, "Danger, do not swim or play around here," with a Kappa being depicted under the water and this boy like struggling in the water. You can battle a Kappa, though. If they do catch you or are going to attack you, one of the best ways to thwart that attack is to be super polite and bow deeply, because Kappas, as you know, are obsessed with politeness. So if you do a deep bow, they will in turn do a deep bow, and what's going to happen?
They're going to spill their water.
They're going to spill their water. And now they are either powerless, or you can fill their water dish head thing up again and
make a friend for life.
Or sometimes almost like a slave for life.
Do they? I was going to say speak English. Do they speak Japanese?
Yes, they do.
I mean, they speak.
They can speak. Yes,
okay.
They can. So if a person refills that, sometimes they'll serve you for all eternity. Or at least be your friend. They also have a weakness in their arms. Remember, their arms can go back and forth. So I guess that means they can be easily pulled off of the Kappa. So if you pull one of their arms off, they'll be like, "Come on, man, give me your arm back." And you'll say, "What are you going to do for me?" And they'll cut you a deal or something like that. So you give them their arm back.
Okay.
Which seems fair. They also have aversion to iron, sesame, and ginger, because why not?
Well,
that seems reasonable. But if you do get a Kappa as a friend, like I said, they're a friend for life. They'll do some things. One of the things they most commonly do is they help farmers irrigate their land because their
nice.
water. I don't know if they run around with a little dish, because that seems like a very labor-intensive way to do it.
Yes, it does.
But they do. They also sometimes will bring you fresh fish.
Oh,
so
nice.
If you find fish on the doors, it's like a cat brings you a dead bird, just trying to help you out. Same thing with the Kappa. Sadly, though, when they do sometimes assault women, and there are numerous stories of there being a hybrid offspring of this. The offspring, the Kappa human hybrid, is supposed to be so gross and disgusting that they're generally buried at birth.
Well, that's horrific.
It is. I'm going to have something even more horrible here in a couple of minutes. But and by the way, it's not just, there's very similar creatures throughout. You've heard of a Kelpie in Scotland? It's kind of Kappa-like. And so there's a Chinese folklore creature called a water ghost or water monkey that does similar things to the Kappa. The Philippines have something called a Siokoi, and that has been known for like kidnapping children at the water's edge. Same thing, almost certainly to keep kids away from dangerous water so they don't get hurt or don't get drowned or what have you. They serve that purpose in like the Scandinavian version, etc. And they're now though considered kind of like part of the yokai, the mythological creatures or the supernatural creatures in Japanese folklore. They're kind of, yokai are supernatural Japanese creatures that are all over manga and anime.
I don't know, yeah.
Kappa.
Like Godzilla, for example?
Like that, but those are giant. There's a certain kind of yokai, but there's lots of those. Like the Kappa, again, is small, but it's part of that world, that folkloric realm, and they're very popular now these days. They've become quite the popular item within that. They've also changed too. Originally, they were more like kind of monkey-like or even otter-like. And in fact, the river otter may have given rise to them.
Yeah.
And then they kind of over time became a little more reptilic or amphibian. And by the 19th century, you started seeing the turtle shell associated with them. This one historian I read, he thinks it's that it was easy to use a turtle as a kind of a model to draw these things into a human-like shape. So they started giving it a green color, and it wasn't necessarily green before. They put the beaked mouth that wasn't quite there before. And they got rid of the hair and gave it some kind of either scales like a fish or a slimy skin like a river turtle. But it really changed them. And then what happened is that as time wore on, it became cutified to a certain extent. They became a little more friendly because remember, they were originally a scary thing. Stay away from them. Don't go swimming. And then they became a little more comic. And by the 1950s, they were truly full-on, just cute little creatures that became beloved in Japanese culture and kind of shed that very scary, dangerous past that they had. Actually, people have sort of theorized what gave rise to the Kappa. I personally don't think there's really a need for that. It's imagination did. Some people have said that, well, maybe they were, again, boogeyman for keeping people away from water. They're just made up. But some people think there's also something real there. Like, for instance, aliens.
Oh, Lord.
Like they came down and they go through some kind of a portal, so they will travel back and forth between and they're water-based river aliens, I guess, and they travel back and forth between our world and their world, and that's why we can't quite get a handle. And actually, no one's able to get a living creature or even a dead one because they are able to travel back. One of the horrific explanations for them, though, is that it wasn't so much to keep the kids away from
the water
drowning, but it was a way to keep the kids away from something horrific that was in the water, or this something horrific in the water may have given rise to Kappas, and that something horrific is called leech babies. Leech babies were, in Japanese culture, were either stillborn infants or even sometimes newborns that were born to very, very poor families who simply could not afford to feed them, and they were killed. And they were usually dumped in rivers or ponds to get rid of them. So some people think maybe that seeing those gave rise to the Kappa, or they would, not have the boogeyman Kappa, so the kids didn't go see the leech babies in the river. Probably not true.
Yeah.
But just a little horrific thing I just felt like I had to add to the story.
Yeah, I'm going to go with not true.
Probably not. The other one, the most naturalistic explanation is the giant Japanese salamander. The Japanese giant salamander is freaking huge. It's the third largest salamander in the world. It can grow as large as 5 feet long. A salamander. I did honestly. I knew there were some big salamanders. I didn't know they were that big.
No, that doesn't even seem possible.
I know. Amphibians, generally speaking,
yeah.
Historically, even in dinosaur days, amphibians got bigger than that. But they need a ton of oxygen in the river they live for that. So that's these giant salamanders. The biggest ones are actually in China. There's a South China salamander and a Chinese salamander that can get almost 6 feet long. And they live in fairly swift-flowing, super oxygen-rich rivers typically because they need a lot to grow that large and they maintain that. But they're huge. And they have very, very strong jaws. And so maybe it's something, and they've never hurt anybody as far as I know. They hunt fish and frogs and things like that. But they are, you could see those things being kind of scary and maybe I don't want my small child near a 5-foot salamander in the river. So you have this legend of the Kappa kind of grows up around them. Or again, just flat out made up by a very imaginative Japanese storyteller many, many, many centuries ago.
Yeah.
I choose to believe that. But that is our first quick cryptid corner about the Japanese Kappa.
Nice.
I hope you enjoyed that.
I did.
We'll sprinkle these in every once in a while. If you have any requests for your favorite cryptid, send it on in.
A request for your favorite
Shut up. Cryptid. I said it right. Did I not say it right? Oh, you're a monster. You're terrible. You're mean.
Dean loves cryptids.
If you have any requests for Carrie to be nicer, that would be great. I'd love to hear that. Please email Carrie and tell her to stop being such a
Nobody's
monster.
going to do that.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening. Join us next time where we'll have a full episode stolen from today's headlines. Until then, we'll see you. Bye.
Thanks for listening.